Hey, happy Valentine's Day. Yep, I'm recording on Valentine's Day. And not because I want to brag about one of my wonderful Valentine's Day gifts, which is a thing my husband picked up for me. It's a paper distresser. I know Tim Holtz has one out. This one is just off of Amazon. And I've already used it a bunch of times. I really love it. So just in case anyone wants to distress the edges of their papers, their work, this is the kind of the distressing edge it puts on there. And of course, the harder you use it, scrape it, the more distressed it looks. And I already inked it. So, but I thought I'd come back and do a video of part 3. So let's just get right into it. So far, if you've done part 1 and part 2, this is what you should have. Minus the holes, I put those in. So I picked where I wanted them and I put them in. And to prepare, because I think personally I do better if I just prepare, then I'm not so feeling like I don't know, caught off guard. So I prepared some of the pieces. So to show you some of the pieces, this is just a plain flap, and we make a bigger flap out of paper you choose, and the same on this side. Hope I'm in frame. So I've made them. I've already made the, I don't know what exactly they're called, button closures or something. I made them because I double my light cardstock. I double them. I've also made this little flap. I did not glue it on. Let's see my in frame. I made this little flap. I did not make the pockets. There's a pocket here. I didn't do that yet, so we'll get to those. I also made these dividers, and this new time I made the dividers the correct way, which is at different heights. When I did it here, for whatever reason, I cut them all the same height and they're all the same. I wanted them at different heights. So I did it correctly this time. So let's put this one away. And let's get started on what we have. All right, so just getting all my little, hope I don't get my head in the way. Oop, I'm still missing one. We'll find it when we need it. This is the flap extender I made for over here, and I already put the hole in. So I think before I glue it down, I'll probably put my little things in. So one will go here, one will go here. I'm going to use Brad's. And then I have two for the other side. However, I don't know where I managed to lose. There they are. Okay. So those go with that, and those go with that. Get all my, this is the extra flap I made for over here. That will all go over there. This is the flap I made for the top. So hopefully we'll get to that. This is the flap I made for over here, and as I explained before, I wanted my circles to be more almost straight up and down. because in my other one I made them crooked, and then that pulls this flap to the side, and I didn't care for that. So I'm going to glue this one on, and I may, when I glue it on, keep this a little tuck spot, which means I would only glue it 3 sides and keep this a little tuck spot. I was thinking I could do the same over here and keep this a little tuck spot if I just glued it. So I may do that even if I don't tuck anything in. The tuck spot is there. And the same with here. Marlies put paper down here. I don't quite remember if she did it after she put her brad in, and it covered the brad because the pocket came in from this side. In the one I made, I didn't make those pockets, but I think I will this time. But I'm still going to put the brads in, and they're only brads. I can take them back out if I decide to add something, and if I put these in prematurely. I doubled my little cardstock. Then I put an extra little, almost spacer, because I know I'm going to want to wrap the string around it. And I just wanted just a hair. It lifted off the paper, just a hair. Then I made this to be glued on here, so that when I stick the brad through, it gives this paper a tiny bit more strength. And that's important. Otherwise, this is really good and sturdy. Then you put your brad through here, and I don't want the brad ripping through this. On my last one, I put it to the outside, and as you can see, that looks fine. But to be honest, you can glue it on the inside. Or would this be the outside? And then when you put this on with the brad, you would glue that on. Glue it completely on. This you don't glue, you just put the brad through it, and you close the brad over here. And now you sturdied up this paper with this. But if you don't mind it inside, you put it inside. I'm choosing to put mine here because I just cut willy-nilly circles out of bigger circles, and they're not even straight. I wasn't worried about it. I was going to put them here. Didn't think anyone would notice. And the same for over here. Doing the same thing over here. So I guess my first step will be to glue those on. So anyone who's working along with me, you should have about this much done other than your holes. So just pick where you want your holes, and you can make these, or I wouldn't have had to make them. I mean, you'd still cut them out with a paper punch, and then I trimmed mine, but you wouldn't have to trim them. I mean, I don't really think too many people are going to be looking in there. If they are, I don't know about that. So I'm just gonna hope I'm not too close. I don't want to make anyone dizzy and sick. Put those on. And I'm going to put them on here, because I'm also putting one of these on. This is just a piece of cardstock, thin, so I'm going to put them on here. This one was the first one I made. I'm going to use it. I did think it was a little, but we're going to use it. It doesn't take a whole lot of glue. My goodness, did I? Can't see where the, oh, there we go. Oh, get it correct. And last but not least, so sorry if I'm silent. I tend to get silent when I'm trying to focus, which is also why it's probably best I do as much prep work as I can before I come on, because once I start working, I get a little silent. Okay, let me go get my brads. I think this one is big enough to use the regular size brads, that the little brads would be too little, I think. Let's see. I think that'd be okay. Let's see. I don't want it to look too circusy. Okay, I like it, so that's what I'm sticking with. Okay, that's all it takes. If anyone sees me doing a mistake here, just yell out. Get another black one. Think if I push the head in so that the head isn't sticking up off the card stock, because these big ones want to tend to stick up off the cardstock. That's better. Okay. How's that look? I thought I'd bring in the red because that's red. I probably could have brought in that color as well. Didn't. Hindsight. Hindsight is always perfect. Okay, get this. We need this one. And did anyone see the other one ran away? Great. Let's get this one in. Again, push it all the way up into the cardstock and put it on. I love using brads. For whatever reason, using the where did it go to? Oh, there it is. Using the eyelets and eyelet setter, and even though I have like 3 different eyelet setters, it just seems like when they're selling them, the eyelets in millimeters, and then oops, point whatever. Oh, see, got ahead of myself. I just always seem to have the wrong size, and then when I squish them, I over squish. All right, let's see. Both, yep, both are in. Okay. So it's going to be like that and that. All right. You do not have to even add this if you want to just put your thing through there. You don't have to add an extra piece. I just do to help sturdy. I think, you know, to help sturdy this. I also think it matches and helps to pull everything together. But you don't have to. Also, you certainly don't have to do in a large rip. You can certainly cut it straight edge, rip it straight edged, and do it that way. It's just, this is new to me with Marley, and I'm thoroughly enjoying. All right, now let's see if I can get this without getting my, and again, it doesn't have to be perfect because I'm just going to use as a little bit of a pocket. I don't need, I'm just going to follow this edge now. Okay, and some of this edge, and this I do want to kind of really get in the nitty gritty. Hope I didn't go too far. Down to here maybe. Okay. Now let's see how. Okay, get this where I want it. Also, you can round the corners. On one of the pieces, you could see I did round the corners. I happen to love that look, but since I didn't round any of the other corners, I just wanted that. Just did it there. I like to add my own little. Should have brought my glue eraser over, but because I am heavy-handed with the glue, it's kind of my MO. Okay. Let's not do that. Oh, also I did, and now you can probably see, I just took one of my Tim Holtz stamps and I just lightly stamped. That might get totally covered up, but whatever peeks through will be fine. Okay, so just trying to make sure this gets held down. And now we have that as a pocket. Little tiny pocket. Does not have to be huge. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. So I'm just gonna glue here and up to here, and then over to down to here. Hoping, I don't know if I'm on enough. No. Putting that down and calling it done. Let's get this up because I know I overshot with the glue. Okay. It's just that easy. Once you cut out your pieces, it really is that easy. This is the top. Okay, so now we're going to work on this, and this is where these pieces come in. Now, you don't have to make these file foldery tab things. You can make them straight across or put a little thumb divot in each one like you would a normal pocket. Marley did have tabs. They weren't this big. I have a tab machine maker. I have had it a year. I've used it very little. I don't think if I ever had to rebuy it, I won't bother. Not that I have anything against it, but I also cut little gussets. And I cut it for each size because each card, each little pocket, I should say, is the one behind it is a little bigger. So it stacks like that. And just to prove that I don't know how to use my tab machine maker, is this was supposed to be one on the end, one in the middle, one on the end, and instead I got that, but I'm using it. Not sorry. Well, I kind of am. Okay, so I'm going to glue. You don't need 3. She did 3. I'm doing 3 because I'm a copycat. So I'm going to glue just these to this. So I'm gluing the first one to the second and the second to the third. Then we'll take it from there. The thing you want to remember when you go to make these, whoop, now I have to check that for glue, is your largest one, if you're doing them different sizes, that your largest one will fit between the bottom and your score line. You have to give it some room because we're going to put it in here when we're done gluing all these together. So you don't have to glue the bottom. You just glue the sides. That's all you need to do. Just glue the gussets to the one behind it. You don't have to glue the bottom because we're putting in the bottom. And you'll see that when we get there. Okay, so now we have 1 and 2. The bottoms should line up. Now these two get glued to this one. So let's do that. And any of this stuff I'm doing can be altered, changed to your taste or your needs, or if you're purposely making this for someone special and you think, oh, they could use 1 big pocket instead of 3 little ones, or no pocket there at all, that just would annoy them. Whatever your needs are or wants, that's what you want to do. Okay. Just trying to get the bottoms as close to together as I can. On the sides, kind of standing, and my work area is a lot lower than what I'm used to right this second. So, okay, now I cut this piece, and I have to keep in mind that when I fold it up, this piece is going to be upside down. And this piece is what's going to be on the back. And I don't want to see that. So I cut the piece off the bottom. I don't remember really if I cut it off the bottom or the top, but I cut it off of somewhere. I thought this was the top, and I definitely wanted to see that. I think all these numbers are cool. And Paris these are Frenchmen. So I wanted this part to be seen like that. So when I glue this whole piece flat down, because it's a piece of cardstock, it pulls my highest one up. That's why I said cut it short, a little bit short, because once you stack it in here and glue it on, it's going to come right up. Well, mine does. You can put yours anywhere. It's going to come right up. Ink it before you get it put down. Now, before I glue this piece on, I just want to show you, I didn't quite go to the edges. I did that on purpose. I wanted sort of it to peek out a little bit. Not a whole bunch, just a hair. This piece, I rounded the top corners because this piece is going to go right up to the score line, like that. That's what it will look like with this then sitting inside it. The reason I want this on top is so that it doesn't interfere when I put stuff behind my last folder and I stick it in there. It doesn't get caught. If I would cut this down like I did on my first one, then when you go to use it, it keeps catching on the edge. So I made this one longer in the back, and then I'm putting this over it. I think it was a good solution because I don't like that. I wanted that. So now I'm just going to try and decide if I want to glue this piece completely down or just glue the sides and leave that open. If I did, that would be 1, 2, 3, and 4. To be honest, because when you close it, it will be upside down. I don't really feel I need that many spots to tuck stuff. I really think I'm just going to glue it all down. Made my decision. Here we go. I have to glue quickly because I'll change my mind. So, if there's a extra pocket to be had, I have it. So, just gonna quickly glue this down. Okay, let's see if that's enough. I do like, as I said before, this type of glue because I need wiggle room. I need to be able to change my mind, fit it better, shoe it one way or another. It's just what I do. That's what I like to do. Okay. Good enough for me. Let's see if I have any ink on my thing, because I'm going to ink that edge before I glue it down. Front. Redarken up. Then that will get glued down like that. So I'm going to put glue. And I hope I'm in frame. I really hated to use this side and cover it up. Just glue it down, but whenever you have double-sided papers, you lose one side. So, and that's sometimes causes me anxiety because I never know what side I'd prefer, and I always second, third guess myself. Oh, gotta glue those down. Not that actually, maybe it's better if I just wait and get this positioned where I want it and need it. Perhaps. And now I get to slide it down to right where I want it. Because I don't want it sticking out. Oh, I forgot the top may be of this card. Maybe a tad at a square, and that's fine. I don't care about that because this piece, what did I do with it? Oh, right here. This piece will cover it. So this piece will cover it. So maybe I will glue that down now. No maybes about it. We're gonna do it. Wait, don't want to lose my. So I don't know if you watched my last video on in this series. I have been having difficulty with storage space because I use my phone, and evidently when you have 500,000 pictures on your phone, I spent an awful lot of time deleting a lot of old videos and old let me just see how that, so that's how it will look. Okay, I don't know why I keep, okay, I'm gonna put glue on there and glue that down, and that's how that will look. I will probably put labels or numbers or something extremely fancy or cute or something. Okay, try to be a little more careful. Whoop. Yep, that's me being careful. Okay, I hope yous are more careful than I. Okay. Hold it up and push it in. Let me get my metal. I always try to what am I caught on here? Get the middle. Okay. And voila. Don't we love it? Okay, that will actually go in there. I do have, okay, I have no idea why I have that. I do have this piece. I believe it was ripped from over here. Part, maybe not, but I thought that's where it was ripped. Anyway, I wanted it for here, just in case, and I want it as just a little bit of a tuck spot, just in case I want to put a tiny little tidbit in there. And I also stamped here. Over here I stamped with black ink, and over here I used watering can from Archival watering can. It's kind of a dark gray, almost has a sort of a blue hue to it, and I just thought it helped to sort of fit in with some of the coloring scheme. That's all. So just gonna glue this in. I think when my glue gets a little thick, it just starts wrapping itself around. Okay. On my other one, I don't believe I put anything on here. And you don't have to either, but I just thought it might just be a cute little. Okay, I gotta stop rubbing before it's dry. Okay. Okay, so far now, that's what we have. Okay. Don't worry, we will be decorating this, and if you want to stamp on it, you can just slide something, well, it depends if you want to cover it this way. If you're covering this to stamp over here, Or if you want to only stamp in a certain spot, you want to cover it, just use a piece of junk paper, not a piece of good paper. Okay, so now up here is where we actually have a flap. Just so it looks more like a flap, I'm going to put a little, tab on it. So let's get that on. I did put a tab on my other one. I believe Marlies also put a tab. I try to put my own taste on it, but I still try to keep it a copycat, or you wouldn't recognize that I copycatted, and that's what I'm just showing you, that it's not difficult to watch someone's video and copycat, especially when it's okay. You're not stealing someone's idea or design. They're putting it on YouTube to show you how talented they are. And they should be honored, really, that someone thinks their design is so inspiring that they want to do it. Okay, and then this will get glued here. Now the reason you don't want to glue it here is because if you glue it going over, then in your front you will have one side thing. We don't want that. We don't want that. Unless you want that. Again, your flip book if you want that. But I want it to be a little bit of a surprise. I also cut it probably a good, let's see if I line it up there, it's probably a good 1/8 and a little more short of the score line, and I want to kind of split the difference a little bit. I still want to keep it further away from the score line than the top. You can even keep it all the way up to the top if you want. I want you to keep it away from the score line because it does flip open, and when you have rough edges, they tend to be uneven and you don't want it to interfere. So I'm going to glue that down. Going to glue it down. I did match, well, now that I started, I did measure, obviously, 8.5, and then took an 1/8 off, just so that it wouldn't be too long. So I did, you measure this, and then just take however short you want it to be. For me, it was a good 1/8. I didn't measure, I just made it a little shorter. Also, you don't want it, well, I didn't want it, Marley didn't want it, all the way over to the edge. We wanted a rip. You don't have to rip the edge. I wanted to rip the edge. I also put washi tape. This was just from, I believe, Amazon. You can use any kind you want. I did use washi tape because it is just kind of hanging out there, and I just wanted to put it over the two ends. Anywhere you decide that you would like to just reinforce a score line with washi tape, I agree with it. I absolutely agree with it. I don't always do it because sometimes I don't, for me, I just don't feel it needs it, but this particular one, because it's going to get opened, and over here we're going to put a pocket. We're putting a pocket in here. Oh my goodness. Putting a pocket in there, and we're putting 2 pockets in here. Let me get the original so you can see what I mean. Here's the original. And there's a pocket here that is torn, as you see. Maybe it'd be better if I use this side. Then there's a pocket here, and it's all on the same flap. I made the flap like that. On this one, because I sewed, I kind of wanted to see the flap on the inside. So I just put the flap on the inside, and then when I added this pocket, I just butted it up against the flap. Sorry. The spine that I kind of sewed in, it's not really a spine, it's just where I sewed it in. I just butted this pocket up against. However, you can put your pocket all the way up. You just want to make sure, again, you keep it away from the score line. The reason I butted it up against and not put it up on top, and I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm just going to butt, if I can, I'm just going to butt the pocket up. I may, this one, because I sewed and it had a design on it, I thought was really cool to just do it this way. This one's much more boring. There's really nothing too much there, so I may just, but you still have to keep it away from the score line. So I may put my pocket. You don't need to put 2 pockets here. You can put 1. You can put 2 pockets here. The reason Marlies did 1 pocket, let me get the, is because this is the pocket she put together envelopes of different sizes, and this is where she put them. But you don't have to put a collection of envelopes there. You don't have to do that at all. I am going to with the one I'm making, so I'm going to do it just like Marlies. And to be honest, I really didn't notice that she did anything on the inside here. I think she left that open for journaling. So I don't know if I will either, but I'm definitely going to put a pocket in here and 2 pockets on the flip part. So let's get that out of the way. So when you're done, this is what it should look like. You should now have your bigger flip envelope lid folder thingies. You should have your little button things on. You should have your file folder in, and your little flap. And I think that's it for part 3. And I will get to a part 4 within the next day or so. And that is when we will do the pockets for here and continue on. Thanks for following along, and happy Valentine's Day. Bye-bye.